All right, this ain't gonna be long, but one of the things that keeps happening is you deal with black people who have a black face but a white mind. And what I mean by that is you can be black, you know, and everything black people do is wrong, even though, and everything white people do is right. So it's only pro- proper culture is when white people do things. So you thinking, you got black people. What's up, Jazzy? Who in their mind, you know, if something is done by a black person or a way quote unquote black people do things, it's negative. And if something is done by a white person, it's positive. And I find it interesting. What's up, Edward? It's very much so funny because you deal with people who, on the same aspect, you're black and you look at black people as less than, and then you treat black people as less than, and you're disrespectful to black people. But since you think it seems like you got a white mind. What's up, Super High? My bad, y'all, because I'm chilling. I'll probably be on in 15 minutes. Um, you think for some odd reason, you treating your own people as less than, as if you're not one of your people. And I've seen it so many times. What's up, Paul? I've seen it so many times where people pull that stunt where then when the very people that you want to be like disrespect you, you don't know how to take it. You know, it's you think it's because, you're black, you're a different kind of black person, but white people are treating you negatively. What's up, Uncle Edward? Because of the black stigma, the stereotype. And you just have to prove you're not like the stereotype, which to me um, reeks of mental illness. Because if you really think you're gonna go out into the world and I'm gonna prove that I'm not black, then you pick the mission that is asinine. And agreeing with, say, being conservative, or agreeing with political stances, that doesn't have that has one issue, you know, because if you agree with a stance, that's cool. I don't have a problem with that. But if you agree with stances so harshly that you can't even hear the other side, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's funny because it's like playing chess. If you playing chess against a person, but the only moves you really watching and caring about is yours, you're destined to fail. And when you have a black face with a white mind, you're destined to fail. You know, because no matter how much, what's up, Nick? No matter how much you attempt to ingratiate yourself in white culture, you're still going to be an outsider. And, you know, like minds think alike, So if you and somebody have of like minds, it's understandable that y'all get together. But we got to the point where this like mindedness is, you're black, but you're like minded with non-black people about being anti-black. That's what this is about. You know, I you know I don't you know they don't like black people. I don't like black people, so we get along. But you're black, but I'm not like them though. So you got a black face and a white mind, and you could you could have a black face and a Hispanic mind, a black face and an Asian mind, all those things, because I understand people, we have some dysfunctions in our culture. But the irony of it is every race and ethnicity has dysfunctions in their culture. And nationalities have dysfunctions in their culture. So, what's up, Rand? So, when you got a dysfunction, when you act like the my group is so dysfunctional, I'd rather be in your group without acknowledging their dysfunction, goes into mental illness. Because now, if you change the color, you don't see dysfunction. If you change the color, you don't see wrong. If you change the color, you don't see a flaw in an argument. You know, you don't see how one you can have separate situations with different groups of people and they have different endings. Because, all you're seeing is your twisted view of how things should be. And what I mean by how things should be is when you get to the point where you're like, this is how it should be, because this group, I think this group is better than that group. Let me tell you how crazy it is. You got men of all races upset that women have got too empowered by society and the governments and this, that, and the third. And they can say that as the guy was popping, appreciate it. I had to troll little boys. But you got people out here making the statement that, when women get empowered, we live in a country where men get depowered, right? So you don't have as much power as you used to because people are empowered. So if somebody gets in power, that means somebody is under that power, right? But at the same time, what's up, Dizzy? My bad. But at the same time, when you bring race into it, you lose that aspect. It's if somebody's in a certain power, that means somebody's underneath that certain power. That's what it is. But then it's pull yourself up by your bootstraps. It's all fair. Everything is okay. You just, you're complaining. Oh man, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Dizzy. Many more to you. Many more to you. And so now we live in this complex thing that, every time you see black people, you got black people, every time something happens with black people, saying why black people are wrong. If they'd have did this, if they would have did that, if they would have did this, if they would have did that, if they would have responded this way, if they would have said this, if they'd have spun around like this, if they would have turned this way, it wouldn't end this way. And the irony of it is, once again, if they change the race, they'll change the exact same argument, which is bipolar. Well, it's not bipolar, schizophrenic, but, it's very hypocritical to say, okay, when this situation happens, it's because, if you acted this way, blah, blah, blah. But everything is fair in America. Everything is balanced because if this would happen with anybody, it would be the same. So when the exact same thing happens with somebody else and it doesn't respond that way, you're confused. Now, I'm very understanding that America has its own racial issues and its racial divides. It's always been here. So there are going to always be different ways to do things. Everybody's not going to get the same result based on their race, period. That's what it is. Hey, Nicole. Super high, I got you. Based on their race. But when you act like, all I got to do is think like these people and I can make it, no. People act like, the Jews are different. The Jews are white people. White people didn't, white people, white is a group of different Caucasian people who wind up benefiting off of other white people. Jews are white. Anglo-Saxons are white. You know what I'm saying? Irish are white. And all of these groups don't necessarily get along. Russians are white. You know what I'm saying? Germans are white. It's all white. So if you got a black face and a white, but you got a black face and a black experience, but you want to think like, you want to be transracial. You want to get up to today and say, well, I feel white today. I feel white. And I'm going to be treated as such because I think it, so I am. Like, no. You know that's crazy, right? You know, I grew up in the suburbs. Okay. I'm better than those black people. Which black people? The ones that you're not around? Yeah, those. Okay, so you don't even know those people, but you know you're better than them. Why? Because just because I grew up, they need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. You was born, your parents took you to the suburbs. You didn't do that on your own, you know. Sorry, Omega man, I gotta troll the troll sometimes, man. You know, but this is where we at. Like when we in a society where people want to play the game where, you know, and I meant what I said to those dudes, by the way. Like I wasn't joking. Like, but you gotta troll the trolls. Um, but it's one of those things where people want to get into this aspect of like, okay, you know, I went to school, so I'm better than you. I graduated, so I'm better than you. I got this occupation, so I'm better than you. I live in this neighborhood, so I'm better than you. You know, it don't make no sense. What's up, cool man? Like, I made this amount of money, so I'm better than you. Like, I've hung around these people with, you know, I've made it to this success to the point where I'm better than you. And for black folks like that who want white acceptance that bad that you disrespect the rest of black people, you got to play that role for life. Yes, it is a caste system. You got to play that role for life because what winds up happening, and I've seen this so many times where a person would be like, they would feel like they're pro-black, and then something happens, and then they're, anti-black, and then something happens, and then they can't go back they can't find the middle ground and go back to any black folks because being anti-black, you got to be in a room with people who are anti-black. You know what I'm saying? And after a while, that wears on you. And when it wears to the point that you like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? You know, you know, the competition is interesting. The capitalism, I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. Because it's funny because we live in a country. I don't think this country is really religious. I think it's BS. But you live in a country where people say money is the root of all evil, or the love of money is the root of all evil. So you seek validation from another group of people because it makes you money, so you can feel better about your life. That's very I can't take your word or your principles at any point. What's up, Tyrone? Like at that point, I can't take your word or your principles or your stances because your stances are anything that puts money in your pocket. You really are not standing on the principle. You're standing on the dollar. Kind of looking like, unfortunately, and I don't mean to bring his name up disrespectfully, but kind of looking like Akon at this particular point where it doesn't look like Akon is doing anything, even though he's doing great things in Africa, the things he's saying is, I'll say anything for an extra dollar to bring it back to Africa. And it's like, I don't know if I hope you should understand that might not work for you in the long run. You might get a little bit of extra bread while you're doing it though, but it's going to come at a price that you might not be willing to pay, say 5 or 10 years from now, and you got a black face and a white mind. It's interesting, that's why I was thinking about, I was clowning with my coworkers about Paul George, the basketball player, thanks Q, and I'm not saying he has a black face and a white mind, but for him to go to the Clippers after he dated Doc Rivers' daughter and left her for a stripper, that's what I mean. But that's when you have a mindset that just, you're out of your mind. Like, I dated this guy's daughter, but now I'm going to go work for him and with him. That's not bright. But the arrogance of, it's all gonna work out. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? Talent beats all. No, you idiot. That's not a good situation to be in. He's got a reason to have, you know, Paul George ain't been, he ain't been Paul George. I wonder why. I wonder why. You know what I'm saying? But this is what I mean by having a black face and a white mind. You do things and you disrespect your own people, or you disrespect yourself first and foremost, because you can be an intellectual black person and not disrespect yourself or black people. You can be a conservative. Thanks, Eugene. You know, you can be a conservative and black and not disrespect black people. You could be a liberal and black and not disrespect black people. But this idea that you have to um, throw your own people under the bus at the same time, putting yourself aside as if you're different from your people, that becomes a little lunacy. In my opinion, that's lunacy. Um, you know, it's okay to say things like, I'm this person, I'm that person, I'm like this, I'm like that. This is my belief, this is my upbringing. But this is why I think differently. But it gets to the point um, that it looks to me that a lot of times you have black people like this who ultimately don't even know who they are. All they are is rhetoric. All they are is propaganda. All they are is a caricature of what they think being American is. Because I should have said, is a blackface with a white mind, but it's really somebody who believes so much in the American ideology that they're brainwashed into being a nationalist. And to be black and an American nationalist, that's history isn't on your side with your ideology. You're gonna have some breaks in that because, nationalism is different than patriotism. You know what I'm saying? So what you're gonna wind up finding out is that people want you to be beneath them. Oh shoot, man! Well, happy belated birthday to you, Edward. Salute to that, Unc. So it's Edward. Edward Bailey he turned 51. Like was it 2 weeks ago almost? And Dizzy turned 37 today. So gotta say it twice. Salute to both of you. And like I said to Dizzy, many more to you too, Uncle. Many more birthdays to the both of you. But this is where we at in America, where your birthday tomorrow, Nick. Salute to you. Happy birthday. Early happy birthday to Nick, and many more to you too. But we're at that point where, when you have that ideology, you don't believe fat meat greasy. You just don't believe fat meat greasy. You got to understand that, there's just certain things built into this country that may not leave this country in our lifetime. And to assume that one day is going to be a better day is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Man, thanks, Nick. Like, this is where we at in a society where we want to play this game where, we got different groups of Americans. We got Americans, which Americans means just white people. We got Native Americans. We got Black Americans. We got Asian Americans. We got Hispanic Americans. So all of these people experience America differently. And you see this in all of these groups where to get out of their groups, as you said, put it earlier, to get out of their group's caste system, you take on an ideology that is not in your own culture, and assume that ideology is going to bring you up out of your caste system. Now, some people try to, ingratiate themselves in other cultures and procreate and have kids with people, and then ultimately those kids procreate with other kids and they kind of drown themselves out. And what's funny is a lot of those people, they realize what they've done like when they're close to dying, and then they're like, "Oh my God, that's not what I meant to do." But truth be told, that's exactly what you meant to do. You just didn't, you know, you want them to have a better life or whatever. That's the ideology. Like what Tiffany Haddish was talking about recently. We need to just stop having sex with folks and this, that, and the third. What's up, Slump God? You know what I'm saying? We need to stop having sex with those people, this, that, and the third, and we stop, procreating or whatever, and it'll change, the country of racism. Like, no, like racism is built into America's fabric. Like it's in everything in this country. Everything. America is so black and white that non-black and non-white groups of people feel like they're caught in the middle and they don't get enough respect and attention. You know, pretty super high. You know, so that's what happens. That's why other groups go, I got to get out of here. You know what? Let me get out of here because I got to take this call. God dog it. I'm getting a bulk of calls. Hold up. Yeah, let me bounce. So I said I was going to be 15 minutes, but I got to get out of here now. So I'm going to catch y'all on the flip side. Peace, everybody.